The Premier League is back, and so is the drama, not just on the pitch, but in your fantasy squad. You're the manager, you call the shots, and it's time to pick your dream team for match day 2. Steph and I have your fantasy fix for the week, who starred, who flopped, and who to pick for the match day 2. So let's get started and take a look at the top 3 leading scorers last week. Okay, so...
Look. All right, Erling Haaland, obviously. Most people build their teams either around Erling Haaland or Mo Salah. If you had Haaland, they both scored this past week, but Haaland obviously had the brace and 13 points. A lot of people captained him, so they took a lot from him. He is obviously the top scorer, probably will be one of the top scorers all season long. Chris Wood with the shout out at him. Richarlison, a fantastic match against Burnley in their opening match of the season.
Yeah, obviously for strikers, the more goals, the better. Okay, moving on to midfielders. Their points on goals, assists, clean sheet. Antoine Semenyo getting 15 points, notably a lot more than any other midfielder last week.
Yeah, massive for him. The brace at Anfield, and he has a very good matchup this week. We're going to get into him in just a second. Tijjani Reijnders, we'll get into him as well. Probably the best value midfielder in the entire game. We'll get into him in a second. Mohamed Kudus in his debut with Spurs, fantastic performance with an assist and also some bonus points.
Okay, defenders now, they're getting points on clean sheets, tackles, clearances, blocks, interceptions. Daniel Ballard from Sunderland, 17 points. Who? I don't think anyone would have guessed that.
What's crazy about it is that there were actually some managers that triple captained Ballard from Sunderland. How did you get that? Are you looking ahead? You have a crystal ball? But a fantastic performance from him, as well from Rico Lewis and Calafiori also with that clean sheet and DEFCON defensive contribution points for him.
And also getting that goal. Okay, goalkeepers. David Raya getting 10 points for Arsenal. We've also got Nick Pope from Newcastle, 9 points, and Vicario from Tottenham, 9 points. Goalkeepers done well last week.
Yeah, they have. I was really upset because I had Vicario in my team to start, and then I took him out, so I would have gotten the extra clean sheet.
Raya. So I was good there.
Good for you.
Okay, we're going to take a look now at the flop of the week, who didn't do so well, and many managers had him in his team, including myself. We had Florian Wirtz from Liverpool, played 81 minutes, got 0 goals, 0 assists, and only 2 points.
Yeah, it's tough for him. I would argue that Cole Palmer was maybe a bigger flop in week 1 because more managers captained him than Florian Wirtz. But yes, Florian Wirtz did not have a good performance in match week 1. Clearly still getting up to speed with the Premier League, the speed of the Premier League, the physicality of the league as well. I think he's going to come good. Do not panic with Florian Wirtz. That's my message. I think he will come good. And my hot take is that he might lead the league in assists at the end of the season. So he might be one of those guys that you want to have in your team because he's going to get a lot of points, especially assisting with all the talent that he has around him at Liverpool.
Exactly. In the Premier League fantasy game, you do get 1 free transfer per week. So these are our suggestions on who you should be replacing into your team. Tijjani Reijnders had an amazing week last week. Many people got to captain him.
Look, Tijjani Reijnders, if you don't have him in your team,
put him in.
I had him in my team to start. Thank you very much. I watched AC Milan last year, saw how good of a player he is. It's not only because he is obviously a fantastic player, but he's also in the perfect system. In Pep's system, as a box-to-box midfielder who also has the ability to get forward in the counter-attack and also create opportunities. At £5.6 million, that is a fantastic buy. He already went up. He was at 5.5 to start. He reminds me of a 2021-2022 Ilkay Gundogan in Manchester City side. He scored 168 fantasy points, 13 goals, and 6 assists from the midfield, from a guy who plays as an 8. That is huge value. If you don't have him in your team, it's not too early to take that free transfer on him. He's going to be a fantastic player for City this year.
5.6 million is a steal.
It's a steal. It's a steal. Clearly, they already brought him up to 5.6. He was 5.5 to start.
Get him while you can.
Right, they're already realizing that, he was underpriced. So they're already starting to bump his price up.
What about some other players? I mean, Chris Wood, I don't think he had a great season last year, but I don't think a lot of people would have put them in there as their striker, their main striker.
I had him in as well. I took him out before, and I'm kicking myself for that one. Look, he's a great player. I think Nottingham Forest is going to have a fantastic season. They were able to keep Morgan Gibbs-White, Dan and Doy on that team now. I think it's a very good combination in attack. So it sets up for him. He's going to get all the service. He's going to play 90% of the game's going to start at that position for Nottingham Forest. A very good shout with him and still pretty well priced at that point.
And a huge part in fantasy, Stefano, is actually looking at what teams they're playing up next.
Of course.
Because obviously if you're playing like a side that's lower down in the table, they'll hopefully be getting more points. So we're going to be looking at your must-start players based on who they've got. I'm going to talk about Ollie Watkins just because he plays for Aston Villa and they're playing against Brentford, his former club. He played for them in 2017 and 2020. Always going to like like going back to West London. I feel like feels a bit at home, more comfort there. So hopefully that will lead him to having a better game and getting more goals under his belt.
I need some performances, some returns from him. He's in my team as well.
Yeah.
I was really positive about him getting some returns against the Newcastle side with all the turmoil, and they were playing at Villa Park. It was a slow start to the season for Aston Villa at home, and he really didn't have that many chances. That being said, I could see him bouncing back against the Brentford side that gave up a ton of goals in week 1, gave up 3 goals in week 1, and is a player that's going to lead the line for Aston Villa all season long. I like him. Erling Haaland, a clear start as well against Spurs. Bukayo Saka, not the best performance against Manchester United, but against Leeds at home. Now with the Eze signing, Eze likely will not be part of that game, but the excitement at the Emirates, them going back, their first home game of the season, I can see Bukayo Saka having a big game against Leeds.
Yeah, and then Semenyo obviously against Wolves, he had a great week last week, so you're always having to think, maybe he'll have another good week. Yeah,
especially when you're taking on you talked about fixtures, right?
Yeah.
Wolves, that is an opportunity where Semenyo can continue to double his account.
Exactly, so why don't we look at who we've picked for our teams, give the viewers, also comment down below who you are picking this week. This is my team. Obviously, I've got to have my brother in there, Matty Cash. I always say to him, if you don't have a good game, you're making my fantasy team not do well. Raya, a great week last week. I'm keeping him in there. Cucurella is one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Van Dijk, he's also my vice captain. Why wouldn't you have him in there? A lot of people either pick Haaland or Salah. I chose Salah. He's my captain. But I know you didn't have a great week last week, or Gyökeres, but I'm thinking maybe they've got to get used to the Premier League first. Give them a couple of starts in the English League. Rodgers just got the award for PFA Young Player of the Year, thinking he's going into this new season with that on his shoulders, a bit more motivated. Grealish making that big move to Everton. I think he's going to do great there.
Did you make any transfers, or is this?
I did make one transfer. I had Ian Delap in replace of Richarlison.
Okay.
He didn't do too great last week, and I thought Richarlison done great.
Yeah.
What did he get? 13 points, was it?
Yeah, 13 points, and seems like he'll hold that spot. I mean, Dominic Solanke's there, but I feel like he did enough in week 1 to be able to get those
Momentum's
minutes.
such a big thing in this fantasy game, so I thought I'd piggyback off that. Let's take a look at your week 2 Premier League side.
All right, here we go. I did not make any transfers. I'm going to play the long game here.
Where's Cash? I'm disappointed with that.
No, we need to talk to him. We need to make sure that he's going to give me some returns.
He got 8 points last week. That's quite good for a defender.
He did. I'm not going to make any transfers. I'm playing the long game. It is a tricky week in FPL. There is a lot of difficult fixtures.
Yeah.
I also built my team around Mo Salah instead of Erling Haaland. I think long term they'll be about the same when it comes to points.
Yeah.
So, you'll have some weeks that Haaland will be better. You have some weeks that Salah will have some more. I am not sure who I'm captaining yet. I'm still between Cole Palmer taking on a dreadful West Ham side that we saw in game week 1. Salah playing against Newcastle with all the drama that's happening between the two clubs. It may be a cauldron at St. James's Park, so maybe not. Maybe I go away from Salah and go to Cole Palmer for captaincy. We'll have to see. I'm not going to make any changes. I'm going to bring Estev from Burnley into my team, and I'm going to move Wan-Bissaka to my bench. I think that Sunderland will not have another 3-goal performance, and this is playing back at home against the Burnley side that defends pretty well against championship side, so I do think they'll have some success. I'll bring Estev in. I have Sells as
He's
my
a good goalie to have.
He is, I think, long term, right? He almost got the clean sheet last week, and they gave up a late penalty goal, so that was tough. Dubravka is there. I may switch Sells and Dubravka still because Dubravka and Burnley play Sunderland at home, so I may make that change still before the deadline tomorrow. But I'm confident with my team long term, and last week you were on you did this segment with our boy Master Tesfazian, and just letting you know we're in the same league, and I did edge him by about 8 or 9 points.
How many points did you get last week?
58 points.
Okay, I got 53. I think average was 52, so we're kind of doing
right. We're good.